Welcome to This Explainer. I am so incredibly pumped to have you here today because we're about to dive into a highly counterintuitive and just completely fascinating biological survival tactic. We usually think of nature's parenting as this nurturing, protective instinct, right? Well, we are about to explore a side of the animal kingdom that flips that entirely on its head. So get ready to look at family dynamics in a completely new and honestly slightly terrifying light.
Okay, let's just dive right into a crazy question. When does it make sense to kill your sibling? I know, it sounds literally like the plot of a dystopian sci-fi movie. But for some species, pitting kids against each other to the absolute death is actually a highly successful winning parental strategy. To understand why a parent would ever willingly set up a biological thunderdome for their own offspring, we really have to look closely at the math of survival. Section 1. Establishing the Mars. Now, it's completely common for siblings across the animal kingdom to fight. We all know that. They fight for food, they fight for attention, or they just fight to establish dominance. But usually, parents step in to make sure the rivalry doesn't go too far. And that's not just out of warm, fuzzy parental love. It all comes down to genetic math. See, the more babies you have that survive to adulthood, the more of your genes you get to pass on to the next generation. That's the ultimate goal of biology. So generally speaking, letting your kids destroy each other is a terrible strategy. Section 2. The Biological Insurance Policy. Let's look at a species where the parents don't just ignore the fighting. They actively set the stage for a fight to the death. Enter the black eagle. A black eagle pair has a really specific and pretty brutal routine. They will always lay 2 eggs per nest. But here's the catch. There is practically never enough food around to actually feed 2 hungry eagle chicks. By laying 2 eggs in an environment that can only ever support 1, the parents are intentionally forcing a scenario where those chicks have to fight for survival. It sounds unimaginably cruel, but, well, biology doesn't care about our feelings. It cares about efficiency. To understand the why here, put yourself in the bird's shoes for a quick second. Think about the massive amount of time and energy these parents have to spend. They have to build the nest, they have to violently defend it from intruders and predators, and they have to spend weeks incubating the egg. Now, if the parents had just laid 1 single egg, they'd still have to expend all of that exact same energy. But what if that 1 egg doesn't hatch? Or what if that 1 chick gets sick and dies? Suddenly, all of that incredible hard work is completely wasted. And that brings us to this crucial concept of a biological insurance policy. As long as the parents have to go through all of that trouble to prepare a nest and defend it, it actually makes perfect mathematical sense to lay 2 eggs so that the second one can serve as a backup. If both eggs happen to be healthy, the parents don't try to stretch their limited food supply to save both of them. Nope. Instead, they just stand back and only take care of the stronger, healthier chick that emerges victorious from their nest. They guarantee 1 strong survivor over 2 weak, starving ones. And it's not just eagles either. Some other birds and even insect species use this exact same insurance policy. Section 3. Sand Tiger Shark Extremes. Now, if you thought the black eagle was intense, you may want to buckle up, because we are taking this to a terrifying, deep-sea extreme. Get a load of this number. 20. A mama sand tiger shark can incubate as many as 20 eggs at a single time, right inside her uterus. Theoretically, she could birth 20 babies all at once. But we run into a major developmental roadblock here. If a mother shark gave birth to all 20 of those babies, they would all be way too small to thrive in the wild. Out in the vast, unforgiving ocean, they just wouldn't be big enough or strong enough to hunt for themselves, and they absolutely wouldn't be able to escape the jaws of other predators. It would basically be a genetic dead end. So, evolution engineered a totally shocking solution. Female sand tiger sharks have evolved reproductive systems that actually trap their hatched babies inside the uterus. When a baby sand tiger shark hatches from its egg, it finds itself swimming in this really confined space with its brothers and sisters, and it is forced to make a choice. Eat its siblings or be eaten by them. Yeah, you heard that right. They're forced to literally snack on their own family members in order to survive and grow. This crazy in utero battle royale rages on for several months, and out of the 20 eggs that started the journey, we are left with exactly 1 survivor. Just 1. But you know what? The payoff for this horrifying strategy is absolutely undeniable. The sole survivor that is eventually born isn't some tiny, helpless baby shark. Oh no, it is a full meter long. It's born with a full mouth of razor-sharp teeth. Because it spent months feeding on its siblings, it emerges as a massive super predator, completely ready to take on the open ocean from day 1. It is a brutally efficient way for the mother to convert 20 tiny, vulnerable offspring into 1 unstoppable survivor. Section 4. Humans versus animal teamdom. Okay, let's just take a collective breath here and bring our adrenaline back down. In light of such brutal beginnings in the animal kingdom, isn't it kind of nice that our human parents mostly just want us to, get along? For us, fighting over the television remote is about as extreme as sibling rivalry gets. And honestly, that is a massive relief compared to the literal survival of the fittest happening inside a shark's uterus.
Section 5, a fun technical fact.
Since we've been uncovering nature's dark secrets from our source material today, let's look at one more surprising, and thankfully much later, historical secret hidden in the text. Did you know that a buttload is actually a real technical term? I'm completely serious. Old English beer casks were actually called butts. So when you measure a buttload, it means a volume of something like 500 liters. To put that in perspective from our source material, that equals roughly 1,000 poster tubes. So the next time you drop that phrase into a conversation, you can rest assured you are being historically and scientifically accurate about volume.
And hey, speaking of those taxonomy posters, our source material also beautifully maps out the dog family tree. It shows how everything from wild foxes, wolves, and coyotes, all the way down to those tiny little chihuahuas, are all related. It's just a really great reminder that whether we are looking at terrifying sharks or the connection between wild wolves and tiny house pets, nature's family dynamics are incredibly diverse and just full of surprises.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. We've seen how nature uses the darkest, most ruthless strategies imaginable, like sibling battle royals, just to ensure survival. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. What other incredible and ruthless survival strategies is nature hiding in plain sight? The animal kingdom is absolutely full of these dark biological secrets, and I highly encourage you to go out there and keep exploring them. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep asking those questions and keep learning.